name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. I am doing another tag video, which is a little unusual for me. So I was tagged by Caitlin at Bandy's Books to do the Think Twice book tag, and this was originally created by the amazing AJ Dunn at AJ Dunn Reads and Writes and by Bookworm Adventure Girl. So I will make sure to link their channels down below, and I'm excited to do this. It's a little bit of a different thing, so let's jump into the questions. So the first question is Double Vision, a book that features twins. And for this one, the first thing that came to my mind was one that I read all the way back when I was a child. I read Jacob Have I Loved by Katherine Patterson, and I just remember this really sticking with me because there are twins and one of them is just the unloved one, and oh, that just stuck with me. The poor neglected child. You know, it was traumatic as a child to read about that, so that has stuck with me, and it's about twins. The second prompt is Double Talk, a book with two or twice in the title, and I picked the book Ahead of the Curve, 2 years at Harvard Business School, and this is by Philip Delves Broughton, and this was a really interesting read. I read this right before my husband applied to business school, and I thought that it was a very interesting look into the method that Harvard uses to teach business school, what's successful about it, what doesn't work, what the culture is in Harvard. My husband did not go to Harvard, but he did go to a school that used a lot of the same teaching methods, and so it was useful for me in the moment. Would I recommend it to everyone? No, but if you're thinking about going to business school, is it maybe worth looking into some of what might be taught there, how it's taught, how it helps your job prospects, etc. I think this was a useful book. The next prompt is Seeing Double, a book with a reflection, shadow, or mirror image or mirror images on the cover, and I picked Silver Sparrow by Terry Jones, and it does have a reflected feather on it, and this is a very interesting family drama story about two teenage girls, and there's one that has this loving family, a mom and a dad, but her dad has a second unknown family with another teenage girl, and so kind of that mirror image. It was very interesting and full of all the drama, so definitely was an interesting one to pick up. For prompt number 4, it says Take Two book covers that look similar but are by different authors. So I picked The Alice Network by Kate Quinn and Eternal by Lisa Scottoline. And the thing that's similar about these is that it's two women on the cover facing away from the scene, you know, you just see their backs and walking away. And I feel like that is such a trope in historical fiction a lot of times. Those covers always have, you know, somebody, just the back, and then like some sort of scene. So I don't know. I think the covers look similar. I know they're very different, but it's just that like woman looking away from the camera that is weird to me. So prompt number 5 was I Second That, a retelling. So I picked Circe by Madeline Miller, and it's just retelling, you know, old Greek myths. I also really loved the retelling of the Iliad in Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I just thought she did a really good job at making these ancient myths feel very accessible and interesting and relevant. For prompt number 6, it says, Two can play at that game, a character who plays 2 roles or has an alter ego. And I picked the book Passing by Nella Larson. This book is following 2 women, and one of them, Claire, is kind of living a bit of a double life. She is a Black woman but passes for white, and has decided to completely live as a white woman, and the dangers that that presents, and just that fascination that the character Irene has as a Black woman living as a Black woman has. She has this fascination with Claire's life and how she is living that double life. Prompt number 7 is It Takes Two, a duology. For that, I picked An Absolutely Remarkable Thing and An Impossibly Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green. I thought that these were really interesting and relatable sci-fi books, and yeah, I really recommend these ones. The next prompt was On the Double, a book told in 2 timelines. And this one was hard for me because there are so many books that have multiple timelines, but just 2, and then what counts as a timeline, like how much time has to be given to it to be like a full timeline in a book. I don't know. I ended up picking The Silent Companions by Lara Purcell. This is following Elsie. Her husband has just died. She's in an old creepy house, and they do find a journal that talks about something that happened in the past in this old creepy house, and you kind of follow some of that storyline. So I liked this book a lot. Really creepy, kind of fun. The prompt number 9 was A Perfect Pair, the last 2 books you gave 5 stars to. Now, I don't think these books really go together, but I read Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr, and I really liked that. I thought it was super interesting, followed lots and lots of timelines, and it came together with a really interesting message about hope and the lasting nature of stories, and I thought that was really beautiful. I also gave 5 stars to the book American Baby, A Mother, a Child, and the Shadow History of Adoption by Gabrielle Glaser, and I thought this was it's a nonfiction book and looked into the history of adoption in the United States, specifically by following a story about a woman who had her baby taken away and her search for him. So both of those books were really good. Highly recommend. Prompt number 10 is Two for the Show, a book that has been adapted to film 2 or more times, and I would pick Pride and Prejudice because I'm boring and I love the film adaptations of Pride and Prejudice. I struggled to find romance that I really connect with, and maybe it's just because I read this bunch when I was younger and I've just, kind of grown up with it or something, but I just find reading the book to be a delight, as well as watching the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice and the old one with Colin Firth. I love those. So fun. Prompt number 11 says Two's Company, a book with 2 or more authors or a translated fiction book. And I'm just disregarding the prompt and going with a translated nonfiction book. I read Humankind, A Hopeful History by Rutger Bregman, and this was translated by Elizabeth Manton and Erica Moore. And I thought that they did an excellent job with the translation. It really helped me stay involved with the ideas that were presented in this book, and I really enjoyed it. So yes, had multiple people working on it, was not fiction, sorry. And the last prompt was Double Take. Recommend 2 books you think would pair well together and tell us why. Now, I just talked about the book Humankind. I thought that it would pair really well with the book Sapiens. That one's a good one, but also I just read The Lost City of the Monkey God by Douglas Preston, and I think that that would go pretty well with the book River of the Gods, Genius, Courage, and Betrayal in the Search for the Source of the Nile. And I'm currently reading that, so I don't have all my thoughts collected on that book, but it's been interesting to read both of those books recently. The book River of the Gods, kind of see how the 19th century explorers, they had the, such colonialist views and were really like, we are going to go in and this is my lake now, I claimed it and this is my thing. But it's interesting to compare that with the Lost City of the Monkey God, because yes, it talks about some of the more problematic colonialist times looking for this lost city, but it also shows more modern attempts and the effort to try to stay away from those same ideas and mentalities. And so I thought it was very interesting to kind of read both and see how exploration has changed over time. And those are all the books for the prompts. So I am not going to tag anyone, but I will leave the questions in the description down below. So if you would like to try to answer any of these prompts, feel free. And thank you again to Caitlin for tagging me, and I will see you all on the next one.